the taking out of its resources, for example. Like, because like with immigration, like that distracts from like the main issues that caused the immigration in the first place. Because like that's something that people don't focus a lot about when they talk about like illegal immigration and stuff like that. They look at what immigration causes and like all the bad things about it rather than focusing on what caused the immigration in the first place, you know. And so like not only does it first like distract from the main issues, but it also like I don't know like it breeds more conflict within the African continent itself. Like for example, especially in like in South Africa, right? There's like so much xenophobia because of like immigration, and like that breeds even more conflict and makes the situation even harder to resolve. And so now people are focusing on trying to put out the immediate fire rather than like the forest that's burning in the background that caused the fire that's happening here. You know.
You mentioned xenophobia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as I said before, I'm not African history, but from my understanding, right? Speaking to the colonial history, Europeans came and they just marked and said that this country is X, this country is Y, without considering what you call it, the people, right? Because there are many tribes, I'm guessing, right? So how do we get back to that place where is it even possible to get to that space where you say, okay, my people, your people, this is our land?
I think where we are right now is a little bit on a very, very, very complicated spot where I don't think that African countries can go back to that, idea of we are one people. And we were not one people before the European came. There were kingdom everywhere. Kingdom were fighting kingdom. So the idea that the African continent was united before the European came, that's false. We were never united before. It's just that maybe it was much better than before the European came. It was definitely much better. But the idea of unification of Africa never happened because there were kingdom all over the world, all over the continent. Kingdom were invading other kingdom. And the other part about has Lutfo said about the real causes of illegal immigration. That's important because, as he said, a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people just brush on the thing and just, though they don't try to go deeper into finding the real causes of illegal immigration and all this thing. So now the next question is about what solution do you believe can be implemented from both European countries and African countries to better the situation? Because solving the situation immediately is not something that's going to happen very soon, but to better the situation, to make people think twice before risking their lives at sea to try to get to.
I think the best thing from the side of African countries is develop better institutions that are accountable, having strong leadership that can put in policies and laws in place that make it possible for people to improve their lives, give people more access to basic needs like housing, water, education. I think of one great example is Rwanda, where under even though Kagame's leadership does have its issues, he's a strong leader who's under his power. Rwanda has seen great economic growth, has seen amazing stability, has achieved gender equality, which no other country in the world can even compare to. Like, their parliament has the highest percentage of women in parliament, and I just think it's important to have an institution in place and leaders who are passionate about the people, because ultimately some of these issues, to fix them first, it needs us to look at the situation, analyze it, and come up with solutions based on our perspective, because I think some of these problems need an African perspective to fix them.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And to add on what you talked about, we need to, a lot of our brothers that leave brothers and sisters that leave the continent to go to European countries because they see things that are there that are not in our country. So we need to create the same opportunities that they can get there on the continent. And the way I see it, a lot of people might not agree with me, but the way I see it is to go learn from those European countries, take the expertise and bring it home, like that people that have, the educational level and can't find this appropriate job that match the educational level can stay, Because a lot of, for example, back when we have doctors, that have excellent work background, but they feel like their work is not appreciated in the country, so they decide to move to Europe to try to, match the skills with the appropriate job. If we can bring those one back home, I think a lot of our intellectual are gonna stay on the continent, and it's gonna be very beneficial for us. So one more thought from each of you, if you like, before we end the discussion.
About within the continent, how different African countries can help, like when they're receiving those immigrants or people who are seeking refuge. I know of many, or of a country specifically that tries its best to create platforms for people like that to thrive in their own country. So I think more African countries being more receptive. I know it's kind of unfair because they didn't ask for these people to come in, but it's you need to show a hand and help them and maybe give them means to elevate them so that they can also motivate and help their people back at home. So I think being more considerate and maybe developing ways for them to also thrive would also be good.
Yeah. So first, I really agree with what you just said, about going outside to learn and bring those things back home. I really agree with that point. But to answer both you and Nick's question, I feel like before we can do anything, the main thing is being able to put your self-interest, put the interest of your country or the continent above your own self-interest. Because that's a lot of problem. That's a lot of that's where most of the issues stem. Especially with that's what leads to corruption, because politicians see that they can gain more than everyone else. And once we're able to put or at least align your self-interest with the interest of the country and the continent, but once you're able to do that, I feel like everything will be easier. With leadership and with the people that are in power, if they're able to put the interest of the country above their own interests, or at least align those interests with the country, then everything will be easier to progress, I guess.
Yeah, I personally believe, you said it before, colonial Africa, right? There was no unification. I feel the solution is at least an attempt to unification. There has to be some common goal. And I'm not talking about unification of the people. You can be unified in having a common goal, right? Find that goal and work towards achieving it. That's just my personal solution.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to robust what you just said or give contrary argument, because we don't have time for the whole thing, but just know about the Kingdom of Mali, Songhai, Ghana, how this thing happened, one destroyed the other. So just to respond to your point. So thank you to all the guests for this amazing discussion, and it was very fruitful. We had a lot of meaningful thought about the topic, and yeah, great. Welcome to the second Afro News discussion. It was an amazing one. We talked about China's economic involvement and illegal immigration and all the different aspects that come with it. And we had very amazing thought and fruitful one. And we thank all the guests that were present, the camera crew, and all the people that participated in making this event amazing. Next time we'll be talking about more topics related to the continent. We try to invite more guests, professors if possible. And if you want to watch the videos for all the discussion that we had so far for Afro, just go on the Afro Instagram page, and probably soon we're gonna have a Afro YouTube channel where you can watch the entirety of the videos. Thank you and have a great day.